As the 2023 recruiting cycle is starting to heat up in the month of July, let's take a look back at a class that was absolutely stacked with talent from up and down, as this was a class that was very hyped up, and it's one that was a while ago, but seems like it wasn't that far away, the 2018 recruiting class. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about what happened to the top 10 players in that class. As usual, before I move on, remember to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, let's get into it. To start this video off with the number 10 player in the class, it was offensive lineman Lyman Sawyer. He was the number 10 player, a 5-star, and he would end up going to Georgia. Sawyer would put together a good career at Georgia as a Bulldog, as going into his junior season, he would become a full-time starter. In his college football career, he was a national champion, AFCA second-team All-American in 2021, and second-team All-SEC in 2021. He had some remaining eligibility left after the 21 season, but he would end up declaring for the 2022 NFL Draft, where he was taken in the 6th round by the LA Chargers. On to number 9, it is Zamir White, running back. He was the number 1 running back in this class, and he would also end up going to Georgia. Zamir White's career at Georgia would not start off the way that he would want or anybody else would want for him, as he missed the entire 2018 season due to a torn ACL, effectively redshirting. But once 2019 came, he was ready to go, and he had a solid season. On 78 rushing attempts. He rushed for 408 yards, averaging over 5 yards per carry, and 3 touchdowns on the ground. He would go on to be a big part of Georgia's offense for the next couple seasons, and he would finish his career as a Bulldog with over 2,000 rushing yards, averaging 5.3 yards per carry, and 25 total touchdowns on the ground in his career. His best year at Georgia was his previous season, where he rushed for 856 yards and had 11 total touchdowns on the ground, and was a national champion. In the 2022 NFL Draft, Zamir White was taken in the 4th round by the Las Vegas Raiders. Next up, at number 8, we have the number 1 wide receiver in the class, Justin Shorter, and he would end up going to Penn State. Shorter would spend a total of 2 seasons at Penn State, where he played in 11 games, recorded 15 receptions for 157 yards, averaging 10.5 yards per reception, and 0 touchdowns. After the 2019 season, he would end up entering the transfer portal, and he ended up at Florida. Justin Shorter has been with the Gators since the 2019 college football season, being one of their options in the passing game, and he's had a solid career as a Gator so far. He is coming off his best season yet from 2021, in which he recorded 41 receptions for 550 yards and 3 total touchdowns through the air. He is spending his last season of eligibility at Florida for the 2022 campaign. With this next player coming in at number 7, it is offensive tackle Petit Ferreira. He was the number 7 player in the class and the number 1 offensive tackle in the nation, and he would go on to play for Ohio State. Nicholas would end up playing at Ohio State for a total of 4 seasons. In his last 2 seasons there, he was a starter on their offensive line, and he racked up accolades such as second-team All-American in 2021, first-team All-Big Ten in 2021, and second-team All-Big Ten in 2020. He would go on to be drafted by the Tennessee Titans in 2022 in the 3rd round. Coming in at number 6, it is cornerback Patrick Surtain II. He was the number 1 player in his position, and he would go on to play for Alabama. Surtain became an immediate impact player when he got to Alabama, as he was a starter as a true freshman in the 2018 campaign. And in that season, Patrick Surtain II racked up 37 total tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss, 1 interception, 7 pass deflections, and 1 forced fumble. Over his next 2 seasons at Alabama, Surtain would implement himself as one of the best in the game, especially as a defensive back, as he would garner accolades such as SEC Defensive Player of the Year in 2020, unanimous All-American in 2020, and first-team All-SEC in 2020. He would finish his career at Alabama with 116 total tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 4 interceptions, 1 touchdown, 24 pass deflections, 1 fumble recovery, and 4 forced fumbles. It's also worth mentioning that he was also a national champion in 2020. He would declare for his name for the 2021 NFL Draft, where he was seen as one of the best players heading in, and he was taken with the 9th overall pick in the first round by the Denver Broncos. As a rookie in 2021 for the Broncos, Surtain would have a good season where he was one of the best rookies. In 16 games played, starting in 15 of them, he had 58 total tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 14 pass deflections, and 4 interceptions. He was named in the Pro Football Writers Association All-Rookie Team. The number 5 player in this class was Micah Parsons, who ranked number 2 in his position. He would end up going to Penn State. When Micah Parsons came in 2018 for Penn State, he hit the scene fast and he hit the scene running, as he would have a huge freshman campaign where he had 82 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. In that one season, he was a first-team freshman All-American. In his last season at Penn State in 2019, he had his best year of his college career yet, as he had 109 total tackles, 14 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, 5 pass deflections, 1 fumble recovery, and 4 forced fumbles. In this one season, he was the Cotton Bowl Defensive MVP, a consensus All-American, first-team All-American, and first-team All-Big Ten. He also won the Buckus Fitzgerald Linebacker of the Year award. Now, he was supposed to have a big 2020 campaign, and he was projected to even be a Heisman dark horse, but he would end up opting out of the season, officially ending his career at Penn State, as he would declare his name for the 2021 NFL Draft when he was taken in the first round, 12th overall selection by the Dallas Cowboys. Just like at Penn State, it did not take Micah Parsons long to make his name heard in the NFL. As a rookie in 2021 for the Cowboys, he played in 16 games, racking up 84 total tackles, 20 tackles for loss, 3 forced fumbles, and 3 pass deflections. He would also make a Pro Bowl, All-Pro team, AP Defensive Rookie of the Year, and Pro Football Writers Association Defensive Rookie of the Year. Next up at number 4, the number 1 weak side defensive end in this class, it was Yeboah Iyabi, and he would end up going to Alabama. Iyabi would show early signs of flashes in his career at Alabama, however, that wouldn't last very long, as he was eventually dismissed off Alabama's team due to a violation of team rules. After being dismissed from Alabama, his next step in his football career would be at Houston, but similar to Alabama, he would end up getting dismissed early on at Houston as well for a violation of team rules. He never played a game at Houston. His next spot for his football career would be at UT Martin. In 2021 at UT Martin, Iyabi had a good season, totaling 36 total tackles, 9.5 tackles for loss, 6 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. He is back with UT Martin for 2022, where he is now getting back on track with how he was supposed to progress through his football career in college, and it's kind of good to see, and I'm rooting for the guy to bounce back and show NFL scouts what he was supposed to be about at Alabama. Coming in at number 3 is the number 1 ranked strong side defensive end, Xavier Thomas, and he would end up going to Clemson. Xavier Thomas has been at Clemson since the 2018 season, and he's still with Clemson going into 2022. He did redshirt in 2020, and in his career at Clemson, he has racked up 87 total tackles, 27 tackles for loss, 13 sacks, 5 pass deflections, 1 fumble recovery, and 4 forced fumbles. Some of the accolades he's garnered in his career include a national championship in 2018, and a 2-time third-team All-ACC member in 2019 and 2021. The number 2 player in the 2018 recruiting class is Justin Fields, quarterback. He would end up going to Georgia. Justin Fields would only spend 1 season at Georgia as a backup quarterback in the 2018 campaign. He played in 12 games, where he completed 69% of his passes, threw for 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, while also having 4 touchdowns on the ground. He would end up entering the portal, and he ended up at Ohio State, where he became an immediate starter from then on out. Justin Fields would be a starting quarterback for the Buckeyes for a total of 2 seasons, from 2019 to 2020. In those 2 seasons at Ohio State, he completed 68% of his passes, threw for 5,373 yards, 63 touchdowns through the air, and 9 interceptions, while also rushing for a total of 15 touchdowns on the ground in his career. His biggest season came in 2019, where he finished third in Heisman voting while completing 67% of his passes, throwing for 3,273 yards, and a touchdown to interception ratio of 41-3. Some of the accolades he garnered in his career as a Buckeye included a Big Ten Championship Game MVP in 2019, a two-time Big Ten Championship Game winner, a second-team All-American in 2019, and a two-time first-team All-Big Ten member in 2019 and 2020. In the 2021 NFL Draft, he was taken by the Bears with the 11th overall pick in the first round. As a rookie with the Bears in 2021, he appeared in 12 games, starting in 10 of them. We had a quarterback record of 2-8. He completed 60% of his passes, threw for 1,870 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. On to the final player in today's video, coming in at the number 1 spot, it was quarterback Trevor Lawrence. He would end up going to Clemson. Trevor Lawrence was an immediate impact player for Clemson, as he was a backup in the beginning of his freshman campaign in 2018, but it didn't take him long to become the starter of that offense. He would be a quarterback there for a total of 3 seasons, where he had some spectacular play, completing 67% of the passes in his career, throwing for 10,098 yards, 90 touchdowns to 17 interceptions, as well as a total of 18 rushing touchdowns on the ground. He finished in Heisman voting 7th in 2019 and 2nd in 2020. He would rack up college accolades such as ACC Offensive Rookie of the Year, second team All-ACC, two-time first-team All-ACC, first-team All-American, ACC Offensive Player of the Year, ACC Player of the Year, ACC Athlete of the Year, College Football Playoff National Championship Game Offensive MVP, and a National Championship in the 2018 season. He declared his name for the 2021 NFL Draft, where he was taken with the first overall pick by Jacksonville. As a rookie in 2021, Trevor Lawrence had a shaky season, as in 17 games played, in 17 games started, the Jags went 3-14 under him. He completed just under 60% of his passes, threw for 3,641 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 17 interceptions. It was not a good season at all for Trevor Lawrence, but the Jags were the most dysfunctional team in the NFL last year, and all you gotta say with that team last season is Urban Meyer. Well guys, if you made it this far in the video, leave down any future videos you want to see in the comment section down below, and before you head out, remember to smash that like button, turn on those post notifications, and subscribe if you haven't already. Be Kelly out.